أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. التقسيم الرابع, the fourth classification. التقسيم الرابع للفعل, the fourth classification of verb. So based on our previous lessons, we've looked at التقسيم الأول, that is من حيث الزمن, according to the tense, the present tense, present and imperative. So we've looked at that. That's the first classification. First classification of verb. The second classification is من حيث الصحة والعلة. How strong is the verb and how weak is the verb. So the third classification, that is من حيث التعدية واللزوم, in terms of the verb transitivity and the intransitivity of the verb. Is the verb transitive or is it intransitive? So today, inshallah, we are looking at the تقسيم الرابع, the fourth classification, which is من حيث البناء للمعلوم والبناء للمجهول. So we are looking at this classification in terms of it being an active verb. Al-ma'lum means active verb. Active, fine. So in terms of the verb being an active verb, wal-bina lil-majhul, and in terms of the verb being a passive verb. So majhul is a passive verb, while ma'lum is the active verb. So this is what we are looking at today. So let's move on. So تقسيم الفعل من حيث البناء للمعلوم للمجهول والبناء للمعلوم. So classification of verb according to how the verb is being built. How can we build the verb للمجهول as a passive verb والبناء للمعلوم, and how can we build the verb للمعلوم as an active verb. So ينقسم الفعل من حيث البناء للمعلوم والبناء للمجهول إلى قسمين. In looking at this, the verb is divided into two. ينقسم الفعل, verb is divided من حيث البناء للمعلوم, in terms of it being active verb, والبناء للمجهول, and it being a passive verb. إلى قسمين, is divided into two. So the first one is الفعل المعلوم. الفعل المعلوم, the active verb. We are still going to look at the meaning of this active verb and the examples, and how can we build an active verb. So this is the first one. The second one is the al-fi'lul majhul. Al-fi'lul majhul. So that is the passive verb. So note this. So let's look at the al-fi'lul ma'lum. Al-fi'lul ma'lum huwa ma dhukira ma'ahu fa'iluhu. So al-fi'lul ma'lum, the active verb. Huwa ma is the verb, is the one whose fa'iluhu, whose subject, whose doer, whose subject, zukira, is mentioned, ma'ahu, with it. Is the verb whose subject is mentioned with it. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that whenever you make use of the active verb, whenever you make use of it, then you have to mention the file alongside. You have to mention the doer with it. That is, let's, for example, when I say doraba, for example, this is a verb, right? So this is a this is an active verb. This is an active verb. Doraba a bit. Doraba a bit. There is a way we can identify. We can construct an active verb, and there is a way we can construct a passive verb. We are still going to look at that. But this is an active verb. This doraba is an active verb. So doraba a bit. This kind of verb, whenever you make use of it, you should also mention, you have to mention the file, the subject, that is the doer, alongside. When you mention it, mention the doer. So doraba zaidun. Doraba zaidun. You can see this is the file. Doraba zaidun. Zaidu beat. So the sentence is not complete because the doraba is muta'addi, then it's going to need an object. So doraba zaidun aliyan. Aliyan. So Zaid beats Ali. Zaid beats Ali. So you can see, so this doraba, in essence, based on what we are treating now, we are talking about now, this doraba in essence is called fi'lun ma'lum. Fi'lun ma'lum. Active verb. Active verb. So any active verb you use, you have to make sure you mention the file alongside. So this is the file Zaid. So that is that on fi'l ma'lum. Another thing you have to note on fi'l ma'lum is that fi'l ma'lum can either be from a transitive verb or an intransitive verb. Can be from transitive and can also be from intransitive. So this one now we can see is from transitive. We can also see another example from an intransitive, like Sajada Muhammad. Sajada Muhammadun. Sajada. So sajada means to make sujud. To make sujud. So sajada. Sajada. So Muhammad, this is the file. You can see sajada is fi'l ma'lum. It's fi'lun ma'lum. Don't rush. There is a way you are going to identify the fi'l ma'lum from fi'l majhul. Just note the file that is being mentioned after the verb. That is what I want you to note right now. You still know how to identify it, but right now, just note the file, the subject that comes after it. So Sajada Muhammad. Muhammad makes sujud. He made sujud. So Muhammad so Muhammad now is the subject. Muhammad now is the subject. So it comes after the fi'l ma'lum, the active verb. So that is that of fi'l ma'lum. So let's look at some examples. We have qara'a. Qara'a is fi'l ma'lum. Basically, a lot of verbs. Don't let me say all the verbs you know. All the normal verbs, the way normal verb comes, they comes in ma'lum form. Note this is very, very important. Normal verbs come in ma'lum form, as an active verb. That is doraba, jalasa, kataba, qara'a, sajada, dakhala, kharaja, akala, and the like. You can see they are normal verb, right? So all those verbs come in an active way. They come as an active verb. So qara, for example, now qara means what? He read. He read. So qara is an active uh, verb. Qara, he read. Why? Because when you mention the verb, you have to mention the file. The file is required. It's required whenever you are making use of this active verb. Whenever you are making use of this active verb in a sentence, so the file is required. You have to say qara'a fulanun. So person read al Quran or a book or hadith, anything. So qara'a Muhammadun al Quran. Qara'a Muhammadun al Quran. So Muhammad read al Quran. So this qara'a in essence is fi'l ma'lum, an active verb. An active verb. So therefore you have to mention the file alongside. You have to mention the subject alongside. We also have zabaha. Zabaha means he slaughtered. He slaughtered. You can see the subject. The subject is there. The subject is what? He. Here now it comes in form of in form of a pronoun. So it can come in form of a pronoun or a normal direct noun, anyhow, but it must be used with a subject. You have to mention the subject whenever you make use of fi'l ma'lum. So zabaha, he slaughtered. Zabaha fulanun al kabsha. So person slaughtered a ram. So we have akala aliyun al fula. Akala aliyun. You can see we mention Ali, and Ali there is the word. Ali in that sentence is the subject. Akala aliyun al fula. Ali ate beans. So we have alima. Alima means he knew. So this is also a ma'lum verb. Amara is also a ma'lum verb, which means he commanded or he ordered. So these are the ma'lum verbs. So let's look at how we can make use of it in a sentence. So an-namuzaj. So the sample of what we've just explained now, the sample of it is like, let's say qara'a for example. So making use of qara'a in a sentence, don't forget qara'a is fi'l ma'lum, right? It's fi'l ma'lum. So because it's fi'l ma'lum, you have to, the subject has to be mentioned with it. You have to mention the subject with the verb because it's an active verb. So let's make use of it in an example now. We have qara'a Muhammadun al-Quran, as I said earlier. Qara'a Muhammadun al-Quran. Muhammad recited al-Quran. Muhammad recited. So Muhammad here is what? Is the subject. The subject which is mentioned alongside the verb, the active verb. This is the active verb. Fi'l ma'lum. So this is the active verb. So qara Muhammad al-Quran. Muhammad recited al-Quran. Another example, we have zabaha. As I said earlier, zabaha means he slaughtered. Now in a sentence now, zabaha abi kapshan. Zabaha abi kapshan. So abi in the sentence is what? Is the subject. So my father slaughtered a ram. My father slaughtered a ram. So zabaha is an active verb because we can see the file alongside. So we also have marido. I want you to note these two examples now. They come from what? Muta'addi verb. Muta'addi. Fi'lun muta'addi. They are from a transitive verb. So which qara is what? Is a transitive verb. Zabaha is also a transitive. Why are they transitive? Because they have an object. Qara is the object of Quran is the object of qara in the sentence, and Kabsha is the object of Zabaha in the sentence. So as we said in previous class that mutaaddi verb can never make a complete, can never give a meaningful, can never give a complete meaning without an object. Just imagine you saying Qara Muhammad. Muhammad recited. Recited what? So Al Quran mutaaddi. So this verb, this fi'l ma'lum now, it comes from what? Fi'l mutaaddi. So the one we want to talk about now, the example of Marido we want to talk about now, Marido Aliyun. Marido Aliyun. Ali was sick. Ali was sick. So this Marido is also what? An active verb. Why? Because the find is mentioned with it. You can see the find. The Ali is the find. You do have the action that is the one that is the one who is sick. So Aliyun. Aliyun is the subject. So Marido Ali. Why this Marido is an active verb. So you can see this sentence also is from what? Is from fi'lun lazim. Fi'lun lazim. So in essence, fi'lun ma'lum, the passive verb and the active verb rather, the active verb can either be fi'lun muta'addi and can either be fi'lun lazim. Anyone, it can be muta'addi, it can be lazim. It can be muta'addi, it can be lazim. I hope you understand the fi'l ma'lum. Fi'l ma'lum basically is the verb whose fa'il, whose subject is mentioned with it. Khalas wanta. So let's move to the second classification, the second type, which is the al-fi'l al-majhul. Al-fi'l al-majhul. هو ما حذف فاعله وأنيب عنه غيره. So the passive verb, fi'l majhul, the passive verb هو ما حذف فاعله is the verb whose whose fa'il حذف is eliminated, is the verb whose subject is eliminated. Don't forget in fi'l ma'lum, the active verb, its fa'il, its subject is what is mentioned with it. When you see the verb, you see the subject. But here in fi'l majhul, here in passive verb, the subject, the fa'il is what is eliminated, called the huzifa. It has been what? Deleted. Wa uniba anhu gayruhu, and is replaced. The file that has been eliminated, this file that has been eliminated, uniba, is replaced or represented by gayruhu. Is represented by gayruhu, by another word. So basically, the fi'l majhul is called passive verb in English language. So it's the verb whose subject is eliminated, and that eliminated subject is represented or replaced by another word. For example, in fi'l majhul now, example of fi'l majhul I brought earlier, we said what? We said doraba, Zaidun Aliyan. Doraba Zaidun Dumatan Aliyan. Zaid is taking Duma. Why is he taking Duma? Zaid is taking Duma because it's the subject in the sentence. In grammar, any subject in the sentence is designed to take what? To take Duma. While object in the sentence is designed to take what? To take Fatha. That is the reason why Zaid is taking Duma. He's taking Duma here. And Aliyan is taking Fatha. Fathatan. So that is the reason why. So what we are talking about here is that is fi'l ma'lum. This verb now, this daraba is fi'l ma'lum. Fi'lun ma'lum, active verb. So we can see the file. We can see the file mentioned after the verb. The file is there. So the verb is what is ma'lum. So in the case of majhul, we said majhul is the verb whose file is eliminated. So this file here is eliminated. Zaid daraba aliyan. Zaid beat Ali. Zaid Zaid beat Ali. So this is the subject, this is the object. So the subject here is what is mentioned in fi'l ma'lum. But in fi'l majhul, huzifa fa'iluhu. Huzifa fa'iluhu. The subject, the Zaid here, will be eliminated. Therefore, the verb won't have a subject. The verb will not have a subject. So example, let me bring an example like saying duriba. So this is the fi'l majhul. Duriba aliyun. Duriba aliyun. So from the definition we said what? Huwa ma huzifa fa'iluhu is the verb, this verb. So is the verb whose fa'il, whose subject is eliminated. So the subject of duriba, the subject is eliminated. Wa uniba anhu gairuhu, and that eliminated subject is replaced by another word, which is what? Which is Ali in this sentence. Ali is the word used to represent or to replace the subject. In what essence? Listen attentively. File is designed to take what? To take dhamma. So that file has been eliminated, and this Ali is coming in place of the file, so it's going to take the dhamma the file is supposed to take. That is why it's replacing the file. But here in the context is not called file, it's called what? Naibul file. I don't want to go into grammar. We had it's morphology we are treating, so I don't want to go into grammar. So this is a grammar topic, so we have to explain it. Now it's called naibul file. Naibul file meaning what? Naibul file means, naib means representative of file, subject, representative of the subject. That is what we call naibul file. So this Ali is there to represent the file, not in meaning. Note, is not representing the file in meaning. This Ali will not turn to the doer of the action. It's representing the file in the sense that it's taking the haraka, the sign that the file is supposed to take, and that is what? And that is dummatan, and that is dumma. So that's why it's duriba aliyun. But meaning, looking at the meaning, we can see here doraba zaidun aliyan. Zaid beat Ali. Zaid beat Ali. But here in fi'l majhul, duriba aliyun, Ali was beaten. Ali was beaten. We can induce from that statement, the only thing we can get from that statement is that Ali was beaten. Ali was beaten. We cannot get the beater, the person who beat Ali in that statement. Why? Because this thing is called a passive verb. The verb is a passive verb. The subject is not mentioned. Why? There are some reasons why subjects are eliminated, subjects are deleted. One of the reasons is that maybe you are afraid to mention the subject, the doer of the action. You are afraid of mentioning it, or the doer of the action is unknown. Is what? The doer of the action is unknown. or or we want to we don't want the audience to know the person who performed the action. There are varieties of reasons why file are eliminated. File are not mentioned in the sentence. So there are varieties of reasons. So here now we say Duriba Aliyun. Duriba Aliyun means what? It means Ali was beaten. So the subject, the person who beat Ali is not mentioned. So therefore this fail in essence, that is what we are talking, we are treating. We are talking about this fail, this verb itself. Hmm? It's called what? It's called fail. It's called failun majhul. Failun majhul. Passive passive verb. So this passive verb, wala yubna illa min al mutaaddi. This is a very important point in fi'l majhul and fi'l ma'lum. La yubna al fi'l al majhul illa min al mutaaddi. I mentioned earlier in fi'l ma'lum the active verb. I mentioned that active verb can come from a transitive verb, and it can also come from an intransitive verb. But in the case of the passive verb, in the case of al fi'l majhul can only come from an it can only come from a transitive verb. It can come from only fi'lun muta'addin. It cannot come from what? From fi'lun lazim. In the case of doraba that we mentioned earlier, doraba, doraba. So, and we change it to what? We change it to majhul to become duriba. So duriba is majhul. Why doraba is what? Ma'lum. Duriba. So doraba means what? Doraba means he beat. He beat. So you see the beater, and you will see the one who is beating. You will see the person who beats, and you see the person who is beating. So you must see the file, and you must see the maf'ul. That is why it's possible for us to change this ma'lum verb to majhul, because this verb is what? Is muta'addi. That is why we can change it to majhul. But any verb that is not muta'addi cannot be changed. Any verb that is not muta'addi cannot be we cannot get majhul from it. We cannot build fi'l majhul from it. Fi'l majhul can only be built from verbs that are transitive, like doraba, like kotala, like kora'a, like akala, like alima, like fahima, and the likes. For example, let me bring fariha. Fariha is not fi'l muta'addi. Fariha is not what? Is not fi'l muta'addi. It's fi'l lazim. Fariha. He was happy. He was happy. We cannot get fi'l majhul from it. If we try to put it in the template of fi'l majhul to become majhul, like we change fariha now to furiha, it's not going to give us a good meaning. Why? Because the fi'l is not muta'addi. The fi'l is lazim. Like we say furiha now. How can we translate this? Furiha. Fariha means what? He was happy. Are we going to say he was happy? He was happy? No. It's possible for us to make someone happy, and that is not going to be faraha. Fariha. It's going to be faraha. It's not for this level. It's not for this level. But in the ordinary form of this verb, fariha is fi'l lazim, and it cannot be changed to majhul because the verb is what? The verb does not have maf'ul bihi. So like ta'iba also, ta'iba means he was tired. So all these fi'l lazim, they don't have objects. They don't have objects. So they only have fine, they don't have object. So taiba, he was tired. So now changing this taiba to majhul will make no sense because the taiba itself is lazim, it's not mutaaddi. To make no sense. So taiba, we now say what? We say tuiba. Tuiba. How are we going to translate this? Are we going to say he was tired? He was tired. It makes no meaning. It's different from the way we translate this, like Doraba, he beat. Duriba, he was beaten. So this one, we can get mutaaddi from, we can get fi'l majhul from it, and these two we cannot get fi'l majhul from it. Why? Because they are not mutaaddi. They are not mutaaddi. But don't just forget the principle. The principle which states that what la yubna al fi'l al majhul illa minal mutaaddi. That fi'l majhul cannot be constructed, cannot be built except from fi'l mutaaddi, except from a transitive verb. Now let's look at some examples. We have kuriha. Kuri'a means it was recited. It was recited from qara'a. I want you to note all these verbs that we want to bring under the fi'l majhul now. We know when you change them back to their normal form. The normal form of kuri'a. The normal form of kuri'a is what? Kuri'a, the normal form is what? Is qara'a. That is normal form. So when you change all these verbs back to their normal form, you will see they are what? They are fa'alun muta'addiya. They are fi'l muta'addi. They are transitive. Qara'a is transitive. That is why it's possible for us to make fi'l majhul from it and become kuri'a. Qara'a, he read. Qara'a, he recited or he read. Kuri'a, he recited him. It was recited or it was read. So another example, we have zubiha. Zubiha is fi'l majhul. So changing it back to the normal form is what? Is zabaha. And zabaha is what? Zabaha is fi'l mutaaddi. It's also transitive. He slaughtered. He slaughtered. Zabaha means he slaughtered. So we see the person who slaughtered, and we see what is slaughtered. We see the fa'il, the subject, and we see the maf'ul, the object. So in the case of fi'l majhul now is zubiha. Zubiha means what? Zubiha means it was slaughtered. It was slaughtered. So that is the fi'l. That is the meaning of the zubiha. Don't forget, fi'l majhul, we don't mention the word. The fa'il has been eliminated. We don't know the person who slaughtered the cow or the ram or the goat, anything. All we know is that the cow or the goat or the sheep or anything was slaughtered. The person who slaughtered is not mentioned. It has been eliminated. Another example is kutila. Kutila is from kotala. Kotala. The normal verb of kutila, that is the ma'lum verb, is what? Is kotala. He killed. Then kutila. Kutila, he was killed. He was killed. So we also have nusira. Nusira, it comes from the fi'l ma'lum, is what? Is nasara. He helped. And this nusira now means what? He was helped. He was assisted. He was assisted or he was helped. So we also have umira. Umira is from what? Amara. Amara, he ordered. But in the case of fi'l majhul, this one now, it becomes umira, and it means what? It means he was ordered or he was commanded. So these are the examples. Let's make use of these examples in a sentence. Let's see how they are used in a sentence. Though I've mentioned some of it, but let's see how it goes. sample example now. We have Kuria that I mentioned here. Kuria, this Kuria. So now, I want to use it in the sentence. We say what? Kuri al Qur'anu. Kuri al Qur'anu. Don't forget, we said the file, the subject has been eliminated. So the person that read, the person that read the Quran is what? Is eliminated here. The person has been eliminated. So Kuri al Qur'anu. So, and this Quran is the subject before, which is supposed to take fatha. But because the Quran wants to replace the eliminated subject that's ought to take Dhamma before, the Quran is now taking Dhamma because it's the what? Is the representative of the fa'il, is the representative of the subject. I said it's called what? It's called Na'ibul Fa'il. Na'ibul Fa'il. So, Kuri al Qur'anu. The Quran was recited. The Quran was recited. So that's on Korea. We also have Zubiha. Zubiha. We have Zubiha Kabushun. Zubiha Kabushun. So the goat, the ram, the ram was slaughtered. The ram was slaughtered. Who slaughtered the ram is not mentioned. It has been eliminated, and that is why this fi'l is called fi'lun majhul. Fi'lun majhul. The verb that the file is unknown. That is what we call fi'l majhul. The verb that the file is unknown, and fi'l ma'lum is called the verb that its file is known. The file of ma'lum is known, while the file of majhul is unknown. That is just the basic idea about it. So Zubiha, the caption, a ram was slaughtered. A ram was slaughtered. So we have Kutila also. Kutila, isn't it the sentence? We have Kutila al-Kelbu. Kutila al-Kelbu. The dog was killed. The dog was killed. We don't know who killed the dog. Whether it's a lion that killed the dog, whether it's an hunter that killed the dog, whether it's a trap that killed it. We don't know. We don't care to know. All we know, all we can induce from this statement is that al-Kelbu, the dog, was killed. The dog was killed. So that is that on fi'l majhul. That's that on fi'l majhul. I hope we understand the meaning of this classification. That is the classification of verb in terms of the verb being an active verb and it being a passive verb. So an active verb is the verb that is called fi'l ma'lum. Fi'l ma'lum, that is an active verb, and fi'l majhul is a passive verb. So an active verb, the fi'l ma'lum, is the one whose file is mentioned. The file is what is mentioned, and we can get the fi'l ma'lum, the active verb, from muta'addi and lazim, both muta'addi and lazim. But in the case of fi'l majhul, the fi'l majhul is the verb whose file is eliminated and is replaced by another word. Is eliminated and replaced by another word. And this fi'l majhul cannot be constructed. We cannot get it except from fi'l muta'addi. So that is just the basic explanation on this classification. I hope you understand it. Inshallah, we are moving to the construction. How can we construct fi'l majhul? How can we construct fi'l majhul and fi'l ma'lum? The fi'l madi and fi'l mudari of ma'lum, and the fi'l madi and fi'l mudari of majhul. So because the verb we have been using this morning they are past tense. They are fi'lun af'alun madiya. they are past tense, they are fi'l madi. I hope you get. So we want to know how to construct the fi'l mudori of ma'lum and majhul alongside the uh fi'l madi. So assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.